All right, so we've got a 1977 3/4 ton Silverado here, and it only has 47,000 miles on it, but the upholstery, of course, is looking pretty old and tired. The sun just dried it out, and you can see the seats looking really pretty good, but right here in the stitching, it's all coming apart. Now, I did a little video on doing a seat recovering about 10-15 years ago. I don't even remember. So we're going to go ahead and show you how to do it again, because I think you probably missed that one, didn't you? We're also going to be doing some other things on this interior, so I want you to make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you can catch all that other stuff too. Now, this right here is a Chevy, but of course it's going to be the same on a GMC or Chevy. And your seat recovery here is a 77, but it's going to be basically the same from 87 all the way down to 47, I'm pretty sure, so stay tuned. All right, so we're going to be putting in an original style upholstery seat here. Although, one of the things that's nice about Chevys is that if you like another year or another style, you can just go ahead and order that and install it. You can see it's good quality stuff. It's got the padding on the back here, sewed together really well. And what I'll generally do is I'll take this and put it in the sun and kind of let it lay out. It'll kind of get the wrinkles out of there and some of the folds when it's folded up tightly in the box. The kit's also going to come with, now that comes in a bunch of different colors too. It comes with a lot of colors that you wouldn't expect these days. These right here are hog rings, and this is a hog ring plier. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, I can just get my pliers and use those and squeeze it. Don't do that. Just get this simple little thing. It comes with a kit anyway, and it's going to make your installation a lot easier. So what we're going to be doing now is flipping this upside down, taking a look underneath, and taking off some of the trim. All right, so we're working on a square body, so this is specific to that, but they're all going to be basically the same. They'll have some trim on them a lot of times. You'll need to separate the bottom from the back, and you have to take out like any pins that are holding for the things like that. So no, not a big deal stuff, all regular things. On this particular one here, you have to take off these tracks on the bottom, at least on the back, because the upholstery is holding it. So again, you're going to have slightly different things, but all of this is basically going to be about the same. All right. When we're taking apart our seat, we want to make sure and take notes of small little things. Take a look at this right here. This is just a piece that's left over, but they put it right through here, and then it's hog tied down. So we want to make sure that we duplicate that so we get our new seat to fit on there and stay as long as possible. Taking off your hog rings, not that big of a deal. You just get some dikes and either cut them off or pry them off. And after you get all of them out, then what you're going to have is inside of the upholstery right here, there are wires. And that's actually what the hog ring is holding on to. So it's going to take me a little bit to get out of here. Still stuck in there, but okay, here we go. So you got to make sure that you keep these and that you don't get them all bent up. You might want to clean them and paint them just so they last a little bit longer. And there's going to be generally one on any edge you have. So this edge right here is going to have one. This edge right here is going to have one on your seats right here. Then you've got here and here. Not all of them will have wires in them. Sometimes they'll just be a really thick plastic bead. So you get some differences in there. So I'm going to go ahead and get all these hog rings off and get this upholstery off, and then we'll see what it looks like underneath, and we'll see if we have to do anything to fix that. Now, we got pretty lucky. Our seat cushions are pretty good because nobody ever sat in it, hardly got any miles on it. But if yours is old and tired and beat up, we do sell these new, and we sell them for the $67.72. They basically just sell the bottom though, because I guess the backs don't go bad that often. Now that we've got everything this far apart, we're just going to want to take a look at our seat frame here. Sometimes these springs are going to be broken a lot of times, and you can fix them by either replacing them or welding them or miscellaneous different tricks that you might have to do. You might want to clean it up and paint it and things like that, but get it all prepped up to the whatever degree you want before you're going to put your upholstery back on. This here is all looking good. We don't have anything that's broken, and it's not rusty really bad or anything, so we're ready to just keep on going, but get yours prepped up really nice before you start this next section, okay? All right, we're all ready to go together, so you can tell which one is your back or which one's your bottom. Your back one, it's going to be basically kind of like a pillowcase, if you will. So you just have one slot at one side, this here into the back. Okay, so that's our top. So our bottom's right here. How we know which way this goes on is that you'll notice this side here is longer than this side here. So your front is longer than your back. So this is how this is going on. Now you can actually do this yourself, but I brought Simon here from my shop to just speed things along. It is easier with two people, but you can do it with one. And all you're going to do is just tuck this over the edges and just keep snugging it on. And take your time with it and just keep snugging it on and snugging it on and snugging it on. It takes a little bit of time sometimes. Sometimes they just fall on, to sort of speak. But we really want to get it tucked on there pretty nice. Yeah, there you go. So just give me a couple of minutes to form this on here. I'll flip it around and I'll show you what to do on the bottom. All right, now these are just a little bit different than the originals. The originals took those wires that went right through there. This does not actually use that. What they've done on this one is they've got this thick piece of plastic on here, and it's got a little curvy on it there. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. Can you pick that up? Okay, so what's going to happen is that curvy right here is going to go right around this piece of metal right here. So you get that on the front and on the back, okay? And then you're able to put your hog ties on. Now on the square body trucks, there's a little bit of a caveat, and the fact is that you cannot get to this bolt hole right here if the upholstery was on. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to have to make sure that this is in before you final it off. So what I'm going to do is I'll start in the middle and I'll work my way out. And that's also a good thing to do, because if you have anything that's uneven, okay, and you started on your outsides and you worked in, then you could bunch it up in the middle. But if you start in your middle and you work your way out, then you'll take any idiosyncrasies and just bring them out to the side, and you'll have a nice flat surface. So I'm going to go ahead and get my hog ties, start on that and bring it on down, and then we'll just keep on cruising. All right, so I flipped it over one last time. I just want to make sure everything's centered. It is off a little bit. Just got to go to the left side a little bit. So all you need to do is just manipulate it over to that side some. Holding onto the frame and then pushing the upholstery over to that side. Another thing you can do sometimes is put a little bit of talcum powder on these. Usually on the bottom it's not necessary, but on the back side it's a little bit more, so I might use it there. How do you think we're looking there?
Pretty good. I'm pulling it.
All right.
That's good there.
Cool, cool. All right, well, let's flip it back over then. And so now we're ready to put our hog ties on. Again, I'll be starting in my middle. I'll work my way out until it gets to the point to where I have to bolt on my bottom tracks. Again, this may not be pertinent for whatever you're working on, but it will be if it's a 73 to 87 square body. All right, I should have done this before, but when this is down, you can't see where the holes are that the hog rings go through. So before you put this on, just take a magic marker and mark where each one of these is, and it's going to make things easier for you, top and bottom, of course, or front and back as the case may be. All right, I've got my bottom all hog tied in, and it's down nice and flat. With it flat, I can go ahead and take my seat brackets right here, and I'm going to put it right on top of that and bolt it down. That'll sandwich everything in there really well. The front, though, you can't do that on the front because you're not going to be able to get to this little hole in order to be able to put the bolt in there. Now again, this is only square body truck, 7387, your 67, 72, etc., etc. They're going to be different. They'll have their own little idiosyncrasies that you'll have to address. But again, this is the basics on all the seats really. So I'm going to get these here on. After I get this on, then I can finish off the front. Again, we're starting in the middle, working our way to the ends, and then I'll do the back. So stay tuned. So I said I was going to do the back, but I forgot to do my sides first. So one of the things you want to see is this little strap right here. After we have our slider on there, then we can put this through and get that nice and tight. I'll hog tie it right here. Here on the side you can see that there's holes here for the hog ties too. There isn't anything up here, but I'll just get it on the edges anyway, and I'll mark this also so it's easier to find these. And I'm just making sure everything's nice and snug and really rolled over my edges and everything like that before I get my hogs on there. If you got too much slack in there, it's just gonna make the seat all loose and not as attractive. So when I'm pulling this and I'm getting things snug, I can't go too snug, if you know what I mean. If you pull on it too much, then it'll actually cause wrinkles and things like that. But if you have it too loose, then you can have the same thing too. So you're just kind of going for a nice little medium snug on that. We're looking really nice. It's all set up. Now you might have some leftover wrinkles. Again, I like to set this in the sun about a day before I start working with it, but it's folded up in the package for a while, so you get those wrinkles and it takes a little bit of time to get out, but they will come out. This will just mold into the foam and it'll just get better and better looking. So I'm gonna set this aside and then we'll start on the back. All right, so we're ready to do our back. Again, this one is a little bit more difficult. That's why I do the bottom first, just to kind of get exercised up for it. And what we're gonna be doing is getting a little bit of talcum powder, and this is gonna help it slide on a little bit easier. There, well, that's a bit too much, but it does help it slide on easier. And you're going to run into different things with different years. For instance, I think it's like the 67 on down. It's a bit difficult to put this on and the back seat frame and the foam all at one time. And I think on that one, what I did was just put it over the foam first. I left the frame out and then I had to slide the frame in after the fact. But the moral of the story is that there's more than one way to skin a cat, and your deal might be a little bit different on what you're getting going on here. But the basic shtick of sliding it over and the talcum powder is all going to be about the same deal, and the hog rings and etc. So open it up some for me. I'm probably being a little bit over generous here, but I've got time constraints. We like to shoot a couple of different videos for you guys all in one day so we can give you your money's worth. Oh yeah, we got to. So you want to come down evenly, because if you get one side too far down, then the other side doesn't want to slide down at the same time. And this is all going to be about getting it down far enough. Let's see if we can flip it upside down. And yeah, right. Okay, how you feeling? All right. And this one's a little bit different also in your hog rings. It does not have the wires that go through it, but again, there are some that do, and you should keep yours just in case. But this here supersedes that. I don't need that. It has a thick piece of plastic ring right through the middle here, and that's going to be operating the same as the old wires that ran through. Again, we want to start in the middle and work our ways out, because if we started here and we came in, then it might get bunched up like this, see? So we're going to take that and work it out to the edges. All right, so before I get hog tying everything up, I'm going to double check all of my fit and my lines. You want to make sure that this is even to either side, and if you have any horizontal lines, you're going to want to make sure it's on a flat piece of ground. Stand back a little bit way, or have somebody take a look at it and make sure that's looking nice and straight. Also straight on the top right here. And ours was off a little bit, so we had to just encourage it to go down a little bit more and to shift over to the side a little bit more. And that's just going to take a little bit of time. You just got to do a little bit of tugging and pushing and manipulating it. But the more time you spend now, the better it's going to be for you. Okay, so I'm going to take this back panel right here and I'm going to tuck it over, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tie it on to these rings that you can see here. Again, this won't necessarily be for every single year there is, but definitely for your square bodies. So I'm getting this and tucking it up. I'm rolling it over, getting my hog tie middle out. After we get this nice and straight and firm, then we'll go ahead and take our front and loop it over and attach it onto here. So we're coming over from the center, but before we come to the end right here, we're going to want to take this guy right here, wrap it around the end, go through there, come on down here, and hog tie that on. And then we'll go ahead and finish it off. But you have to do that first because you won't be able to get to it otherwise. And that'll just make a little bit cleaner look for you there, see? All right, we're getting ready to put this back in. Stay tuned. All right, so now we need to put on this striker right here and then our pivot bolt. So before you put this on, you might want to take a little picture or at least remind yourself where the holes are. You can feel around for them. You don't want to cut this, because if you cut it, then it can take that split and it can continue and keep going. You want to poke a hole in it, and then you just want to enlarge the hole a little bit, just enough to be able to get this on. So we're going to get all these guys on, and then we'll be right back. Okay, you come back, you see how much of a difference this made. The seat probably took us about an hour or so, and then when the seat is out, it's just a lot easier to do other things. Door panels, your carpeting, seat belts, your gauge clusters, all this kind of stuff. It's just going to be a little bit easier with the seat out. Now you can see we still got a couple of wrinkles right here, but don't worry about that. After a couple of days in the sun and heating up and cooling down, all that stuff will go away in a few days. My name's David Welch. I'm hoping I'm giving you the confidence it takes to take your truck and take it apart and then put it back together again and drive it down the road and look good too. You make sure you check us out on Facebook and Instagram and subscribe to the YouTube channel, because if you don't, the boogeyman is going to come and get you. We'll see you on the road, man.